recognize the graduates of the class of 2015. Just yesterday, I participated in a time-honored ceremony for Currituck County at the Moyock Cemetery. It was the second year that I've had the privilege to participate in this ceremony. Yesterday, we were able to have 3 JP Knapp students lay a wreath on the gravesite of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Palmer Knapp. During this memorial to Mr. and Mrs. Knapp, one of the speakers related how Mr. Knapp was quite interested in the most up-to-date educational techniques and procedures of his time. We were told he regularly supported research in the field of education in an effort to improve instruction and learning for students. If Mr. Knapp were presented with a concept or idea that its supporters believed would improve student learning, he would respond, "Okay, show me. Go put it into practice." And more often than not, he provided the financial support for that project. I have a feeling some of us will hear more about that information later on in the program tonight. Graduates, over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, you have been an ongoing result of a dream, a vision Mr. Joseph Palmer Knapp had back in the 30s. That vision was to provide the highest quality education for the children of Currituck County by consolidating a secondary school, or what they call a high school, with what would have been called a junior college. Tonight, thanks to the efforts, commitment, and support of many of the people on this stage, in this auditorium, and throughout our state and region, you are becoming graduates of JP Knapp Early College High School. As most of you know, our school was recently named a Bronze Award recipient by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best high schools in the nation.
All right. Yeah.
What's interesting is that award is partially based on how successful we are at educating all of our students, just like Mr. Knapp's vision. What an honor. You are the fulfillment of Mr. Joseph Palmer Knapp's challenge to show me, go put it in practice. Again, I would like to welcome you all to the JP Knapp Early College High School graduation ceremony for the class of 2015. And now, it is my privilege to recognize the JP Knapp salutatorian for the class of 2015, Mr. Sky Potion.
And it is now my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for the class of 2015, Ms. Alexandra Carter.
Graduates, we made it. I'm sure that all of us can credit some of our success and survival in high school to 2 things: naps and food. For me, and I'm sure for most of us, nap time and lunchtime were highly anticipated times of the day. Interestingly, nap time and lunchtime represent our high school experience and our future, respectively. Nap time, or as I like to call it, JP Knapp time. That was a pun and you can laugh now. JP Knapp time represents the past 4 years. I'm sure when we first applied or accepted enrollment to JP Knapp, none of us recognized the intensity, responsibility, and sacrifice required of a student at Knapp. During the past 4 years, we've experienced homework. However, I'm also sure that we did not fully understand the benefits of JP Knapp. JP Knapp taught us how to work in teams while we dissected pigs in biology, how to manage our time while enrolled in online classes, how to write college-level essays, even if we had to rewrite them, how to survive in a non-traditional environment, how to manage our time between classes because 2-hour lunch breaks aren't as beneficial as we first thought they were. How to open ourselves to different perspectives as we attended college with students much older than us. How to serve our community through involvement in organizations like SAD, Beta Club, Animal Lovers Club, Book Club, Future Business Leaders of America, and so on. How to be involved in local activities like Thanksgiving dinners, parades, Relay for Life, and how to contribute our time and talents to serving others through tutoring, carpooling, and texting classmates about a day's work when we were absent. Although our time at Knapp is not filled with sleep, really it wasn't, we still had tons of dreams. Dreams that we now have the ability to achieve because of the lessons we've learned at Knapp. Knapp not only molded us into better students, but better people, better citizens, better friends, better versions of ourselves. Knapp prepared us for the next step, lunchtime. Or as I like to call it, launch time. This is a launch bag. If you know me, you know that I love lunch and food, and I carry this with me everywhere. So I only thought it appropriate to end the way that I started, with my lunch bag. Now, I read a joke on a taffy caddy one day, and it goes like this. What did the astronaut eat on his trip to the moon? The answer is a launch meat. Go ahead and laugh. This got me thinking. We may not be astronauts on our way to the moon, but we are students on our way to a place just as unfamiliar and mysterious. We are launching into the real world. Fortunately, just like astronauts, we are prepared for our journey because of the experiences we've had at Knapp, our Knapp time. But I'd like to give you one more thing before you leave on this journey, before you launch into the real world. This launch bag contains 5 pieces of advice that will help you throughout the various situations in your life. So, what is in your launch bag? The first item is sandwich. You will be sandwiched between people who are different from you. Embrace differences. My father provided valuable counsel when he said, seek to understand alternative points of view. Open your mind and your heart to new ideas, new ways of doing things, and new people. Exercising just a little bit of humility can prevent the need to eat a slice of humble pie, and instead, you'll find yourself sharing a sandwich with a friend. The second item is a juice box, and yes, I still drink these. Don't just think outside of the box, live outside of the box. Thinking outside of the box simply requires you to visualize the end result. But living outside of the box requires you to take action on your ambitions. Sometimes achieving your goals will require you to go completely outside of your comfort zone and try things that nobody has ever thought possible or worthwhile. But this brings me to the next item. Nuts. People will sometimes think you're absolutely nuts. And that's okay. You may be surprised to find out that many of today's most popular inventions were doubted for their usability and significance in their beginning stages. For instance, in 1966, Time magazine published this statement about online shopping. Remote shopping, while entirely feasible, will flop because women like to get out of the house, like to handle merchandise, and like to be able to change their minds. Now, although that's true, ironically, today, subscriptions to Time magazine can be bought on one of the largest websites worldwide, Amazon.com. Sometimes the voice of doubt does not come from an external source, but from within. A good example is when our beloved Wilbur Wright said, "Man will not fly for 50 years." Mr. Wright said this after a failed flight attempt in 1901. But just 2 years later, the Wright brothers would make a successful flight just a couple of miles away from here. Wilbur Wright taught us that expressing doubt is not a permanent defeat, which brings us to my favorite item in the launch pad. And for those of the graduates, you'll know why. A cupcake. Yes, it's extra large. A cupcake is a wonderful dessert, and you should never desert your dreams. don't exist. Live, get out, explore, thrive, challenge authority, challenge yourself, evolve, change forever, become who you say you always will. Become a superhero. Just because everyone doesn't know your name doesn't mean you don't matter. And finally, the last item in your launch bag, outside of your launch bag, is a note from your loved ones. This one's from my mom. It says, remember who you are and eat your sandwich first. Did you notice that was the first item in the bag? She treated me well. Always remember to notice those who support you on your journey. Parents, grandparents, cousins, friends, siblings, teachers, uncles, strangers. Whether they offer a smile, a compliment, a good meal, or a helping hand, express your gratitude for them and their support often. My hope is that this launch bag prepares you for the challenges you will face in the coming years. You have the power to launch yourself anywhere you choose. If you don't like where you're going, change your course. Remember to embrace the differences of those you're sandwiched between. Live outside of the box. Be nuts. Don't desert your dreams, and notice the support you receive from your loved ones. JP Knapp Early College High School class of 2015 graduates, nap time is over. Launch time is here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
Alexandra Susanna Carter